There is no rule that says that we have to have the same planning and zoning fights over and over again. Actually, for all we know, there might actually be such a rule in the Land Development Code. We just can't find it. So this year we're going to rewrite our Land Development Code. And there are going to be few things, if any, that are as important to this city over the next year as this project. It's also critical that we change that Land Development Code in the Austin way. CodeNEXT is the name that we have given to the Land Development Code rewrite process, and it is a huge opportunity for this city. On Wednesday, just 4 days from now, and after a 2-year wait, everyone is invited to see the first draft of this new land use code at the Palmer Event Center. What happens on Wednesday is important to us. And so is how, as a community, we react and engage. Will our community use this wonderful opportunity to pull together to get this right? Or will we listen to those voices that will try to avoid consensus by talking up and even creating conflicts? There will be some people who will raise objections about anything, and in this case, probably even the number of pages and the color of the cover. But I want to propose a different way. One that embraces the opportunity to change as well as Austin has ever done, and to do it together and aiming for a resolution where we all win. In rewriting our Land Development Code, I'd like to propose that we treat each other like we're on the same team. We can win if we achieve 2 goals. First, we have to protect our neighborhoods. And second, we have to deliver the housing supply that we need to make Austin more affordable. So how can we do both? I am sure there is going to be no lack of proposals and suggestions on how best we can get that done. What the heck, I'll propose one now. And I'm going to call it the Austin Bargain. This would be an agreement that protects all of us from our worst fears, so that the community as a whole can sit down and achieve the best possible outcome. For starters, I would propose that we agree not to force density in the middle of neighborhoods. There is no sense in shoving density where it would ruin the character of the city we're trying to save in the first place, where it's not wanted by its neighbors, and where we would never get enough of the additional housing supply we need anyway. And in exchange, as part of this bargain, let's also agree that we will adopt a code rewrite that will give us the housing supply we need, focusing on major corridors, major activity centers, like the area around the Domain or Mueller in downtown. That will enable mixed income housing supply that creates opportunities for more Austinites to stay in Austin, and to also give us the concentration that we need to make transit work well. Now, sure. Now, sure, I know that this bargain is going to mean that there are some hard choices to make in the transition areas between the corridors and the centers in our neighborhoods. But an Austin bargain would mean that we would begin the code revision process with an agreement on about 95% of the mapping of this city right out of the chute. And I think would be a great way for us to start. I would also urge that neighborhoods be given significant influence in deciding how these transition areas are done in those neighborhoods. so long as, remember these are all bargains, so long as each accommodates an appropriate share of the city's needed housing supply in those areas where the market will build it and use it. A land use code that makes sense for everyone could mean that we don't have to hash out practically every tough zoning case in this room, some until 3 in the morning. And to me and my family alone, that would make this project worthwhile. A land use code that makes sense for everyone means that we begin to learn that managing growth depends upon cooperation instead of mutually assured distraction. If we can make the new land development code a reflection of our values in 20 years, when the regional population in this area has doubled yet again, this time to 4 million people, as it has been predicted to do and as it has always done, someone can return here and still find the character of Austin. And that would be change, the Austin way. Now, Wednesday is just a starting point, and we get to choose if we're going to engage each other constructively or waste our time making pot shots from political bunkers. We know what happens if we spend our time fighting. We'll end up with more traffic and higher rents and taxes, endangered neighborhoods, turbocharged gentrification. The do-nothing forces will destroy us. If we insist upon the fallacy that we can stand in the way of change or prevent it, then we are guaranteed to lose our city to increased displacement, inequality, higher prices, and worse traffic. We will be destined to lose the neighborhoods we so cherish. But here's the payoff. If we work together, we can reach a consensus on how to manage growth. We can have an agreement on where we want to add housing and where we don't, on what kind of housing is appropriate in different places. If we do this right, the code rewrite will help us increase mobility, hold down housing prices, protect the character of our neighborhoods, and adjust gentrification in an equitable manner. But as important as they are, the land use rules that make sense and benefit everyone will only get us so far.